Good morning, dear students. This is Dr. Madhusudan Reddy, PBR WITS. This video session for second BTech first term EEE students. Subject is Basic Electrical Circuits. Unit 1, Introduction to Electrical Circuits. Circuit concept, types of elements, passive elements, active elements, about resistor, about inductor, and about capacitor. So these topics we will cover in this video session. So first we will go through this. So basic circuit concept. See here, what is the circuit? The interconnection of all the elements is called as circuit. The interconnection of all the elements is called as circuit. See here, any circuit should contain basically interconnection of all the elements. Mean basically two. Number one is source, number two is load. Source contain active elements, load contain passive elements. We'll see what are those again for the classification of these types of elements. So we remember circuit is a interconnection of elements. So we remember any circuit consists of source, load as well as connections. Connections is nothing but wires. So that is about a basic introduction or a basic idea about any circuit. Example, we'll take a fan. So what you know, fan is a load. What you need, source is a switch. And how to do it? You want to operate the switch. You want to interconnect between switch through wires from fan to switch. So that is about this connection. So that is a small example of a circuit. Or you take a tube light. Tube light is a load and switch is a source. In between those two, you should connect a wire. So then you'll go as, so this is about source and load. Here, then you'll go through this. Here, what are the classification of circuits? Two types, open loop and closed loop. Source and load are individually placed without any connection. So then it's called as a open. So there is no connection. If you made a connection, so then these type of between source and load is closed loop circuit. So open loop circuits as well as closed loop circuit. So this is about the basic idea about concept, circuit concept. Then we'll come back to this types of elements. It is very important. There are two types of elements are there in the nature. What are those? Active elements and passive elements. I'll give the example. What is the definition of active and passive? Active elements are the elements which always supplies or gives energy to other elements or passive elements connected in the circuit is called as active element. I will repeat again. Listen carefully. Active element defines that active elements are the elements which always gives or supplies energy to other dependent elements are called as passive elements in the circuit is called as active elements. I will give the example. Parents and children within a family. Family is a circuit and parents and children. Parents are active elements, children are passive elements. Always the parent supplies or gives money to the children for providing all the activities, education or running, whatever it may be. So that is the best example of this active elements. So examples of the active elements in case of in electrical engineering are sources. So what are those? Voltage and current sources. There are two types of sources. And again, these further classified: ideal, independent, dependent, ideal, practical. All those things we will discuss in the second video when we go to this part. But in this video, we will discuss only passive elements. So next we'll come back definition of the passive element. The elements which always receives the energy from active elements and some elements may consume the energy and some elements may store the energy are called as passive elements. Again, I will repeat this definition. What is the passive element? Passive elements are the elements which always receives the energy from active elements in the circuit. Some elements may consume the energy and some elements may absorb the energy. So these are called as passive elements. What are the example? Resistor, inductor, and capacitor. These are the best examples of passive elements. Again, we will come back to the children and parents. Children are the passive elements which always receives the energy. If there is no provide of supply, mean parent, the children cannot survive. So without parent, similarly, without active element, there is no passive element. There is no function of the passive element. So active element should present. Next, we want to discuss thoroughly about resistor. What is the resistor? See here, this is a physical representation, a graphical representation of a resistor. So it is represented with a V and this is a symbol, and this is represented with a letter as a R. This R is called as the resistance. So resistor is a passive element and which opposes flow of current and drops the voltage across it. So that is the first property, which opposes the flow of current. Why it opposes? R is equal to rho L by A. How it is depends. If length is more, the resistance is also more, opposing nature is also more. If the length is less, the resistance is less and opposing nature is also less. And A is cross-section area, inversely proportional to R. Therefore, if A is more, the resistance is less. If A is very small and the resistance is huge magnitude. So like this, which depends on the physical parameters of length and cross-section area, which oppose the flow of current and drop the voltage across it, which also consumes the energy and dissipated into heat. How? I will explain with the help of a mathematical equation. I will clarify. So the third property is which consumes energy and dissipated into heat. So there are three properties. Number one is oppose the flow of electric current. Number two is dropped across the voltage. Number three is consumes energy and dissipated into heat. So which is represented with letter or, and there should be a difference between or and I mean resistor and resistance. Resistor is a device. Resistance is the property of a device. Property of a resistor is measured in terms of ohms, units of ohms. So this is about the difference between resistor and resistance. Resistor works on the principle of Ohm's law. What is the Ohm's law? The voltage is directly proportional to the current at constant temperature. So the equations are follows. So here, so when we connected this supply to this resistor, the current will flow, but this current and voltage are basic principle of Ohm's law. We see that. What is the Ohm's law? Ohm's law states that voltage is directly proportional to the current at constant temperature. That is very important. Therefore, if we replace this proportionality, we place the equality, then we place a constant, one constant. So automatically constant. The constant is called as R. That R is called as a resistance. So like this resistance will obtain R is equal to V by I, or I is equal to V by R, or V is equal to IR. These are the relationship between voltage, current, and constant parameter. So then power. In case of this resistor, power, voltage multiplied by current is called as a power. So here V is equal to IR, we substitute that. So I square R or V square by R power value. Again, we will come back to the energy. W is nothing but the energy. Power into time. So therefore, voltage into current into time, or I square into R into T, or V square by R into T. So then, where R is resistance in ohm, V is voltage in volts, I is current in amperes, P is power in kilowatts, watts are kilowatts, watts are watt hours are kilowatt hours, units. 1 kWh is equal to 1 unit. So then we'll come back to this about inductor. So how you made into inductor? We remember inductor is also a conductor. You take a conductor, copper conductor, you make into foil structure. This is the foil. a round structure, coil structure, then the conductor becomes an inductor. So that is the difference between conductor and inductor. So every conductor is a straight line. There is no number of turns. Number of turns are 0. But inductor should contain a number of turns. The turns is nothing but a coil structure. So this number of turns, how many number of turns are there? Depends on that. That much of inductance is developed in the any inductor. So this is the symbol of the inductor. This inductor is represented with the letter L. So when you connected this inductor, so inductor is a passive element, so which does not allow sudden change in current. Again, whenever a current flow through any current flow through any conductor, magnetic flux are produced in that conductor. So therefore, in case of inductor also, so number of flux are produced, but that flux directly proportional to the current magnitude. If the current magnitude is 1 ampere, for example, 10 flux are there, 2 amperes 20 flux, 10 amperes 100 flux. Like this, the flux is directly proportional to I. I will explain in the further continuation of this. So we remember the basic property of the inductor due to this magnetic field developed in this inductor, which opposes sudden change in current flow through it. That is the basic first property. And it is represented with letter as L, is called as inductance. Units of inductance is Henrys. The second property is which stores the energy. So we remember there are two properties in case of the inductor, which does not allow sudden change in current and which stores the energy within the inductor in the form of magnetic lines of force or magnetic Y. So basically, I told you already, when a current flow through any conductor, the flux are produced. The flux is directly proportional to the I. If you remove that proportionality, then constant term will obtain. That constant term is called as L. So phi is equal to L into I. Therefore, L is inductor. So therefore, L is equal to phi by I. So here, already you know that Faraday's law. As per Faraday's law, whenever a conductor cuts the magnetic flux and induced EMF is developed in the conductor, says that the first law. The induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of flux linkages, says that the second law. As per Faraday's second law, E is equal to d pi by dt. Therefore, that pi value. So d into L into I. Therefore, L is constant. Formula is voltage across the inductor EL is equal to L into di by dt. Therefore, I is equal to 1 by L integral of EL into dt. Why? Because see here EL into dt, L into di. So you want to remove this differentiation, you apply the integration. Integral of 0 to t. Actually, I am not substitute here limits, integral of 0 to t. So that is about this. Then we will come back power in case of this inductor, voltage into current. Then energy, W is equal to power into time, or also can rewrite as integral of P into dt. Integral of P dt is equal to P into T. Substitute this P, V into I. Again, you substitute this V, VL, L into di by dt, L into di by dt into I into dt. So dt gets cancelled. So therefore, W is equal to L into so integral of x into dx, x square by 2. Similar way, we are getting integral of I into di, I square by 2. Therefore, W is equal to half Li square. So remember, the inductor stores the energy, how much? Half Li square. And again, the energy stored in the inductor depends on the current magnitude, independent on voltage magnitude. So therefore, the W energy stored in inductor is proportional to I square. Because of this I, the formation of the magnetic flux. So the energy stored in the inductor is also formation in the magnetic lines of force. So that is about this. But how much of energy stored in inductor? Where L is inductance of inductive coil Henrys, L is induced EMF developed across inductor, P is power produced in inductor W, W is energy stored in inductor, kWh in terms of magnitude. Therefore, W is proportional to I square. Next, we'll come back to the about capacitor. So remember, what is a capacitor? Similar way, capacitor is also conductor, but you cut equal magnitude of two conductors. You take a equal length of conductor and place the dielectric media between them and close the top and bottom, then become as a capacitor. So this is called as a capacitor. So this is the symbol of the capacitor. So equal plus on left plate, minus on right plate. So I'm not shown here. Please remember the student. Plus on left plate and minus on right plate, whatever it will be, no problem. So one plate containing the positive plate, another plate containing the negative plate, because a potential difference is created between these two plates, positive potential and negative potential, mean higher potential and lower potential. So because of that, an electrical energy stored in this capacitor. So electrical energy form or potential difference is created between these two capacitors, two plates. So that is about the capacitor. We remember nothing is capacitor. Take a conductor, you cut into the two equal length of the plates, then place a dielectric media. Dielectric media means air or vacuum or any dielectric media material, you can place it. So this is about. We'll come back here. When you connect it to the circuit supply, then current will go to the capacitor. What's happening? So here you see that capacity is also a passive element, which contains two equal conducting plates. In between them, dielectric media is placed. The property of capacity is to store charge on its plates in the form of electric field and does not allow sudden change in voltage across it. So there are two properties. It stores the energy in the form of electric lines of force and does not allow sudden change in voltage, but which allows, which is represented with the letter as a C, is called as capacitance. Again, we remember capacity is a device, is an operator, but capacitance is the property of a capacitor. Units are farads. The units of capacitance is farad. So that is about the basic idea. Then we'll come back here. Already I told you, when you take a two equal conducting plates, then there should be a charge is developed. The charge depends on how much of voltage you are applying, how much of voltage the charge is directed. Therefore, Q is proportional to V. Therefore, you replace that proportional with Q is equal to C. C is the constant. The constant is called as a capacitance. C is equal to epsilon naught, epsilon R, A by B. So, already you learned in the earlier classes, C is equal to epsilon naught, epsilon R, A by B. So again, so this, as per current principle, you know that what is the current? Flow of rate of charge. Flow of rate of charge. Or the flow of electrons is called as, the rate of change of electrons is called as current. Substitute this C into V. So C is constant. I is equal to C into dV by dt. So that is the current flow through the capacitor. Therefore, Vc is equal to 1 by C integral of Id. By substituting this, remove the differentiation, apply integration. So we are getting this voltage. Now P is equal to V into I, and energy W is equal to power P. W energy is equal to power into time period, or also rewrite as integral of V into dt. V into I is equal to C into dV by dt. Substitute this, V into C into dV by dt. Dt gets cancelled. Therefore, W is equal to C integral of V dV. So, dx x square by 2. Similar way, integral of V dV, V square by 2. So, what is this? This is energy stored in the capacitor, the magnitude of energy stored in the capacitor. So what is the energy stored in the capacitor? Half CV squared. So therefore, W is proportional to V square. W is dependent on voltage magnitude, independent on. So the energy stored in the inductor is proportional to voltage square. Therefore, it is formed in the nature of charge. So that charge is nothing but the electrical form. So therefore, the energy stored in the capacitor is in the form of electric nature. Where C is capacitance of capacitor, farads units. V is voltage across capacitor, units are volts. I is current through the capacitor, amperes. P is power, watts. P is energy stored in capacitor, the form of electricity. W is proportional to V square. Thank you very much. All the best. Stay home, stay safe. God bless you.